Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're a first timer, then welcome to you guys, all my subscribers. Thank you guys very much. I am well over 2,200, so thank you guys very much. I never thought I would ever see that. It was never a goal of mine to be at that point, but thank you guys very much. Listen, I get requests for these videos all the time. This is our weekly swing plays for the week of November 7th. Okay, so when we take these plays, guys, if you're looking at an option, you can trade common shares, but if you're trading options, get 2 weeks out, okay? At least 2 weeks out. You can get more if you'd like. I never take the first Friday expiry on a weekly swing. I always take the second Friday. It gives you a little bit more time. And weekly swings, man, I really think like people who trade those weekly swings have a little bit more guts than somebody who day trades, because you have to be willing to, hold a little bit longer or potentially hold a little bit longer if it goes in the opposite direction. But well, like I said, I get these requests quite often to have these videos, so I'm going to go through the weekly swing setups with you guys. We're going to show you the entries, we're going to show you the exits, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to manage those trades as well. So before I get started, the screen that you see in front of you, for anybody who's new, you haven't seen this little part of it, but this is TradingView. That's how I chart everything that I do. It's how I place my triggers, how I place my targets. And if you're looking for a platform like this, if you go down in the description, there's a link for TradingView. There are free versions of TradingView, but if you click on that link, it'll give you a free 30-day trial. No obligations to try out their subscription-based services. So you get to try out that service free for 30 days. If you like it, awesome. You can go ahead with a purchase of that subscription, and you'll get up to $30 off of the subscription, depending on which one you choose. But you need to start by clicking on that link. And if you don't like it, you don't need to pay anything. It's a free 30-day trial, so make sure you take up that offer. I'm on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold. You guys can find me there. If you have questions, you can leave them there. You can also leave them in the comment section below. And while we're at it, if you don't mind, give me a quick thumbs up for the video. I'd appreciate it. Again, if you think the video sucks, make sure you give me a thumbs down, but let me know why. I also want to mention you can leave or ask questions in the Griswold Trading Discord. That link is in the description below as well. So get in on that Discord. We can learn and earn together. Most of the rooms, like 95% of the rooms in there, are for free. I do have a fee-based service for a Griswold Gold subscription. It includes a lot of great things, and one-on-ones with myself, a 1-hour Strat course that I've created, the live trading bots for SPY and the other tickers, the Griswold Strat indicator for TradingView, top fives for these plays that I give you guys out for free every single day, but the top 5 within this, ad-free watch list videos, and a bunch of other really great things. And on that topic of the ads, I'm going to ask you guys and thank you guys in advance and show a little bit of appreciation in advance for letting those ads roll through. And I know they suck and nobody likes watching them, but those ads pay to keep this stuff free. So that those advertisers pay to allow me to put these videos out for you guys for free. So again, I thank you in advance for letting those ads roll through. Let's get started on this watch list. We're going to start with Amazon. Okay, so Amazon, you see I've got this broadening formation drawn on Amazon here, where we've gone higher highs to higher highs. And on the bottom side, we've got lower lows to lower lows. And we've tagged this broadening formation, actually come through it. Now, this is the one time I would say, yes, let's go against time frame continuity back to the upside, because we are in, exhaustion risk here at the bottom of this broadening formation. And is it probable that this trade continues to trend down? It very much is. But we're going to look for this to trend back up on a 2-2 reversal. So I don't have this marked out. Let's mark it out together. We can put our pink line right there. And I'm just going to change this because that looks red to me. So we're going to change that to pink, as that is my daily or my weekly triggers. So we're going to look for a 2 up here. And we're going to look for calls at 104.87. We're going to get 2 weeks out. Now, normally, guys, when I day trade, I tell you guys to take market orders, or I at least like to take market orders, because I don't want to wait for those limit orders to fill, because I like to get in and out of my trades. On a swing trade, it's a little bit different. You can ask to get those limit orders filled, and you have a little bit more time to wait if we trigger here, because we're looking for targets all the way up here at 121.20 or in that range. So limit orders are okay, but let's get 2 weeks out. If I was looking for a call on this play, I would wait for it to trigger at 104.87, and I'd probably be looking at like a 107, 108, somewhere in that range as a strike price for my calls. But you're going to go want to look at your theta and your delta and see if you can get like a 4-to-1 ratio on those or somewhere in that range to purchase. But that would be the range that I would be looking for off the bat, okay? So next up, we'll go to Citigroup. That's ticker symbol C. And Citigroup has a 2-up that finished red. So we've got puts marked out here because a 2 candle, as you can see here, part of the Griswold Strat indicator. It's all the indicators wrapped into one. It includes this time frame continuity as well. So we're going to look, like I said, we've got a 2-up that finished red. The 2s are directional candles. They only break one side of the previous candle. So you can see it broke the high of this previous candle, but it failed. So it finished red, not green. So that, to me, gives me higher probability that this trade is going to trend back to the downside. And then we just look for our targets here at 43.89 and 42.70, and that's also known as magnitude. So we're going to look for puts on this one at $44.27. Next up is Carnival Cruise Line CCL. And so we talked about CCL in the daily setups that I sent out earlier today. CCL has a 2-up that finished red. This yellow line is our trigger on the daily. We're looking to go 2 down on the daily as well. So if we catch this 2 down on the daily, our first target is the trigger for the weekly. So if I go to the daily and show you, there's our trigger on the day, and there's our first target. So our first target is also the trigger to go short on the weekly play. So we can stay in this trade a little bit longer, and it's a Friday expiry, or sorry, off of the, if you're taking it off of the day trade, you can stay in this trade a little longer. But off of the week, if you're just straight up weekly, again, you can get in a little sooner off of the day trade if you so choose, and then look for this to trigger the weekly off of the target of the daily, if that makes sense. So our weekly trigger is $8.25. Our daily target, first target on the day trade, is the same thing. And then we can look for targets a little bit further down at $7.94 on CCL. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. DIA. So DIA has an inside bar. If you guys are new to this channel, new to the Strat, let's talk about inside bars. So inside bars do not break the high. They do not break the low of the previous candle. It's a consolidating range. They stay within the range of the previous candle. Now, when we have these, and you notice it's painted yellow, that's part of the Strat indicator that I've created. It's all the Strat indicators wrapped into one for your guys' benefit. So now when we have this, we look for, and I'm going to move that up there, and then I'm also going to move this one here. So what we look for is a break to the high or the low side of that inside bar. And we can go back in time and look at previous inside bars that we've had, and you can see the beautiful runs that they've had. 2-week run here. And this one was not as great, and they don't always work out, but here's another one that worked out fantastic. Double inside bar worked out fantastic. So I would be looking for a setup on this. And if we look at this broadening formation that's drawn, and again, it's busted outside of that broadening formation on both sides, but we've gone lower lows to higher highs to lower lows, back up to these highs, down to the lows. What we see in front of us is telling me that this is going to be a 2-1-2 continuation back to the upside at 339.92. So this would be a very, very good swing play to look at. The time frame continuity outside of the year is all in our favor. And again, the hourly, the daily, and the weekly are all going to change on Monday depending on how we open, because the day is new on Monday, the week is new on Monday. So again, calls at 326.14, puts at 319.34. This is one that I would be looking at specifically on a weekly swing. Okay, Cisco 2 up red, so we can look for puts on Cisco at 43.39. And this is another one of those where we've got the daily trigger here. We're looking to go 2 down on the day, and our first target is actually the trigger for the week. So that's something to look for on Cisco. We move into DraftKings here. So DraftKings I put on here because we have this double outside bar, and we've got this big long run of this red candle to the outside bar. We've got time frame continuity in our favor outside of the month, especially if it trends down. So a couple things happening here. If we trigger this to the downside on the weekly, look what happens when we go to the quarterly. Okay, we're also breaking to the downside on the quarterly, or at least a re-trigger to the downside on the quarterly, because we've already gone 2 down on that quarterly chart, and that's what that purple line represents. So we go back to the weekly. We will look to break through that weekly trigger as well as re-trigger on the 3-month chart as well. So DraftKings, we can look for puts at $11.12, and then first target is all the way down here at $10.50. So good trade looking on DraftKings. Dollar Tree 2 up red. Let's zoom in on this. We're going to look for puts at 151.97. Good magnitude down to the bottom side here. Etsy 2 down that finished green, so opposite of what we've been looking at. We don't have a marker in there, but we can look for calls on this thing at 103.06 on Etsy. Let's move on to GME. So GME 2 up red, we're going to look for puts at $25.34. And we are also, again, going to look to break down with a 2 down on the quarterlies, currently inside bar. I know that because this is painted yellow, the yellow circle, part of the Griswold Strat indicator. I'm going to look for a break to the bottom side on the 3-month chart for GME. I'll go to IBM. IBM has a 2 up red. So again, we're going to look for puts at 133.97 on IBM. IWM 2 up red. We're going to look for puts on IWM as well. And again, this is one of those daily things that we talked about in the daily watch list. Our trigger for the daily is here. Okay? And our first target is the trigger for the weekly again. So again, if you want to take the trade on the daily and turn it into a swing trade, that's perfectly all right. So that's what we're looking at on IWM. Coca-Cola, KO, has an inside bar. So we know how to trade those inside bars already. We've got a daily trigger as well to the downside. So again, we can look for calls at 60.57. Puts are, again, just as probable as calls, I guess. If we trend to the upside, we've got full time frame continuity in our favor. To go look at what that daily is showing us, we've got a 2 up red on the daily. So we can look to trigger to the downside. Our first target is the trigger for the weekly again. So it's a domino effect. We trigger on the day, we trigger on the week, or we trigger on the hourly, we trigger on the day, we trigger on the week. It's a complete domino effect, guys. And that's part of the great thing about this strat is we trigger one, and usually we trigger up on the higher time frames as we go through the motions. Lucid 2 up red. We're going to look for puts on Lucid at 13.15. You can see the numbers on the side here. This pink number here, that is our trigger. And again, same thing. Daily trigger, first target is the trigger for the weekly. Okay, domino effect again. Marvel's got this inside bar. It's actually a 3-1 setup. So this gold bar here that you see is also part of the Griswold Strat indicator. 3-1 setups are rare, and they usually tend to be very, very successful trades. So if we go back in time and look at the last 3-1, we had the trigger here, and we hit targets, and we just ran. We ran for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a little bit in that 6 weeks. So we ran for almost a month off of that 3-1 weekly setup for Marvel. So we can look for the same thing again here. If we trend down, we've got full time frame continuity to the downside, and we can look for puts at 37.20 or calls to the upside at 41.99 off of MRVL. MU, same thing, 3-1 setup, calls at 56.91, puts at, this got moved down, let's move that back up, puts at 54.82. And again, you notice this yellow bar here, we are stuck on an inside bar on the month. So if we go to the monthly chart, here it is. We trigger on the weekly, then we're likely our first target. So let's go back to the weekly. If we trigger on the weekly to the upside, our first target is the trigger for that monthly play. Okay, so now we can change this weekly swing into an even longer setup. Okay, so we can possibly play it for that 2 weeks. And then if we go to the quarterly is also stuck in that inside bar. So we're looking to break out way up here. I mean, that's a fair distance away at that $66 range. It's somewhere, in here. So it's second targets on the month, but we are still really early in this month. So again, it is possible, but again, we're showing you that trigger. We trigger the week, we trigger the month, we trigger the quarterly. Okay, also bottom of a broadening formation, and we're looking to trend back to the upside of it on MU. Head back to the weekly now on Oracle. 2 up red, we can look for puts at 74.05. SE, that's C limited, inside bar. Okay, so again, full time frame continuity to the downside. So we can look for calls at 52.09. I would like to see puts on this. I would like to see it trend down. So we can look for puts at $43.72 on SE. V, ticker symbol V, is Visa. So again, I don't usually use Visa. I don't use MasterCard because the spreads are too far apart. But again, when we're looking at these swing plays, I'm perfectly okay with that because we can get into the limit orders. We've got a little bit more time. I don't need to be in and out of this trade within 5 minutes to 2 hours. I have time for a limit order to fill. So I'm okay with taking limit orders on the swing plays. So again, we have this inside bar on Visa. It's a consolidating range. You think of this as a spring getting loaded and compacted, and we let go of it. It releases. We look for that big explosion, and that's what we look for on these inside bars. So calls at 209.97 or puts at 194.18. Walmart. Okay, so inside bars are an actionable signal when we're discussing the strat. Hammer candles, which you see here, is also an actionable signal when we're discussing the strat. Or a shooter candle or inverse hammer, which you see, these three right here, are all actionable signals. So when we have this inside bar and the hammer candle, I would like to see it green, but it is red, so it's less probable, but a hammer candle is still an actionable signal. So we have this inside bar. We can look for calls at 142.21. This purple line, again, is the 3-month chart. We've already gone 2 up on the 3-month chart off of this inside bar. So we're looking to hit targets way up here on Walmart at 160.83 over the next, coming into January, into the new year. So based on that, I would like to see this. That's the monthly. We've already gone 2 up on the month as well off of this outside bar. So what I would like to see here is the break of the inside bar to the upside. Okay, so I'd like to see that break to the upside and, hit first targets here and then next target again, way up here at that 149 mark eventually, maybe sometime this month. But that's what I would be looking for on Walmart, this inside bar. We're looking for a 2 up on the weekly. You guys, let me know if you like this stuff. Let me know below. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. And make sure you're checking out the videos at the end. I've got a learning tools playlist at the end. How to trade the FOMC. 100%ers on these things, guys. 100% trades, and it worked 100% of the time the last 22 times we've traded the Fed meeting. So make sure you go check that video out so you're ready for the next one. And then the top right corner, we'll probably put gap plays in there for you guys so you guys can go learn how to play gaps. When the plays gap up in the morning or gap down in the morning, I want to make sure you guys know how to play those. So good luck trading next week, guys. Good luck with your start on Monday. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you green, and we will see you guys all on the next one. Bye-bye. You make my heart beat super fast.